Well, seven has a lot to do with a lot. I first got into fashion when I was about 7. I learned how to sew when I was 7. My grandmother taught me how to sew when I was 7 years old. Um, and then I fell in love with making like things in home ec in middle school. I didn't actually start making clothing really until right before college, freshman year in college, and my sophomore year was the first year that I actually made a dress. I had ordered something for the homecoming dance, and it came and it was completely like wrong, like it wasn't what I expected it to be. So I made something real quick before the dance, and all these people started asking me like where I got my dress from at the dance. So that's what kind of like picked it up. But I realized that I wanted it to definitely be, I always knew that I wanted to have a career in fashion, but I went to school for fashion merchandising. I didn't want to go for fashion design because I felt like the merchandising umbrella was much broader. So I always thought that I was going to be a buyer. Everybody says that you go to fashion school, you don't want to be a designer off the top, but you want to be like a buyer or like maybe work for a magazine company or something like that. But I didn't want to do that. I knew I wanted to definitely design. But once I started making things in college and seeing that people actually liked them and would pay money for them, that's when I realized, okay, I have a passion and I can make money off of it. So it was just smart for me to do that. But I also went into visual merchandising. I'm a visual merchandiser for Crate and Barrel. So it's kind of like both sides. Well, 7 has a lot to do with a lot. As I just said, I learned how to sew when I was 7. My grandparents, they're like my best friends. I lived with them for 7 years down in North Carolina. So that also had a lot to do with the number. The number itself, 7, is the number of completions, clarity. And then Thrilla was actually a nickname that was given to me. By a little friend, I don't talk to him anymore. But anyway, it just meant like daring, badass, raw, like, you know. So I put the two together because initially the name was Thrilla Killer when I made accessories and swimwear, and I realized that it didn't piggyback off of what I was trying to promote. I was trying to make things that matched the name instead of the name matching everything that I made. It was totally off. So I revamped, and Thrilla 7 is basically a mixture of raw and daring designs. The 7 part comes from just classic pieces, and you bring them together. And I honestly think of stuff that I would want to wear, and then I try to vamp it or tweak it into a way that I know it would be great for other women to wear as well, and they would feel comfortable in it. And as far as like the actual production process, because everything is handmade by me, I have to make sure that it's not too risky with production. If I make something that's skin tight on me or fits me perfectly, how can I make that again that's going to be fitting to somebody that's up to a 2X, you know what I mean? So that's how I create things. I usually like think of what type of vibe I'm going for with the next look that I create. Or sometimes it'll just pop, like it'll just pop in my head, and then my boyfriend sees me all the time, like on Snapchat or whatever. I'll like use the little memo to make like a quick sketch, and then I'll just screenshot it, keep it in my phone, because it'll just come to me. She had gotten this dress made by some celebrity designer, and it was terrible. So the bottom of the train was all of these like rose petals. So we cut that off, and the mom had to go out and get the fabric for me because I was already like neck deep with other orders that I had to complete. So she went out, I wrote down all the information, the different stores that she can go check and get the fabric and stuff from. She FaceTimed me, I'm not lying, at least 20 times, like at least 20 times, while she was like at all the stores and stuff. But she ended up finding the same color burgundy that was the upper part of the dress, but it was an upholstery fabric. It wasn't an actual type of like sewing fabric. It was like for couches and pillows and stuff. So it had a to it. When she walked, you could hear it. But we got that fabric, cut out a new train, and then where the designer was supposed to give her like a V cut with her lace on the dress, It was all jagged, it was uneven, it didn't match the length of her torso at all. So we got rhinestone appliques, and I just canceled them all on day of prom, the morning of prom. I was in the room just going at it, but it went well. The image that was used to take to the designer that she wanted to get the dress made by, it was initially from another company. It caused a little bit of Twitter beef because they assumed that I was bad-mouthing their dress, the original dress that she wanted to get made, which was the image that she used to take to the designer. But it was just a scuffle in words, so it was fine at the end. But we got it all done, less than 24 hours. So if anybody ever needs a prom dress fixed by me, give me more than a day, but I'll get it fixed for you. It piggybacks a lot off of what I'm doing currently. When I started with the men's tees, I wanted something that was basic and minimal, that still repped my brand, that had the brand name on it, that guys could just throw on and go. I didn't want to get too technical. But with the upcoming men's stuff, I went a little deeper into actually like my design ability for them, with jackets and tees, sweats, sweatshirts, stuff like that. But actually designing them, not just getting them from a manufacturer and getting them screen printed, you know what I mean? Like actually designing them. So, yeah.
How far do you want to get into lingerie? Because I saw you have the Thrilla lingerie piece. So.
Yeah. I was ready to launch it last year. I had sworn up and down that it was going to launch in November of last year. But it wasn't sexy enough. Like, it was sexy, but I wanted to be like Agent Provocateur, like that type of sexy. But it's actually really important to me. I love lingerie, like really, really love it. And I hate saying like the skippier the better, but I feel like with lingerie, if you're gonna wear a thong, you're gonna wear a thong, like a pretty, just risque thong. So I want to get really deep into it. I want to also learn the techniques with support, because I know that that's a big problem for a lot of people. You get a lot of I'm a small top girl, so the bralettes and, you know, just the cute lacy little things, those are fine. But when you get into the whole thing with having support, I want to learn like the structure and underwire, all that type of good stuff. But let it all be sexy, like extra sexy, like for birthdays and anniversaries and stuff like that. Actually, as far as fashion right now, no, but graphic designers. I know that's a little weird, but I feel like I'm really, really big on visuals and campaigns and stuff. So I always get an eye from graphic designers and photographers, because normally their audiences have an eye for fashion. So I always feel like if the two appear together, that it could be like super crazy. There is a young lady who, I don't know if you've heard of Yes Jules. She's like,
she was just in Philly.
Yeah, she's really, really popular right now. So I actually would like to collab with her in some type of way. So that's what I mean. Not really like fashion, because she's not just fashion, but that type of vibe.